Ethan Hale had never believed in fear that didn't have a face. He wasn't afraid of ghosts, demons, curses, or any of the things horror movies insisted were lurking in the dark. But he was afraid of silence, real, oppressive silence, the kind that made a person realize just how alone they truly were. He'd grown accustomed to it over the last 3 weeks, ever since moving into his new apartment on the 15th floor of a building that was 90% empty. The landlord said the place was still undergoing renovations, but the cheap rent made Ethan ignore every red flag. Tonight, though, the silence felt different, thicker, as if someone else were breathing in it. It was nearly 1:40 a.m. when it began. Ethan was lying in bed, scrolling through his phone, trying to dim the restlessness that always hit him at night. The room was dark, except for the thin stripe of streetlight sneaking through the blinds. The city outside wasn't loud, not from this high up, but there was always some hum of life drifting upward. Tonight, there was nothing. Only the soft buzz of his phone. He didn't notice when the ambient hum of the building's ventilation went dead. He didn't notice when the refrigerator's gentle rattling tone stopped humming. But he did notice when his phone glitched, flickered, and went completely black. What the hell? He pressed the power button. Nothing. It had been at 82% only minutes earlier. A faint click echoed from the corner of his apartment. He bolted upright in bed. At first, he thought it was the metal coat rack settling, or maybe the window expanding or contracting from the temperature shift. But then it came again. Click. A slow, deliberate sound, like someone carefully opening a small latch. He reached for the lamp on his bedside table and flicked it on. Nothing. The power was out. He swallowed hard. Power outages happen, sure, but in 3 weeks of living here, he'd never experienced one. And the building had huge industrial generators. Another click. This time, it came from the living room. Soft, precise, not mechanical, intentional. Ethan forced himself to breathe evenly. Maybe someone else in the building was walking in the hallway. Maybe the sounds carried through the vents. But the air felt wrong, thick, humid, as if the ventilation system had been purposely shut off. He climbed out of bed, grabbed his phone, and used the dim flashlight glow to guide himself toward the door. The moment he stepped into the living room, he felt it. Cold air drifting from the kitchen. The window was open. He never opened that window. He approached slowly, light trembling in his hand. The curtains swayed gently, even though there was barely any wind outside. He checked the latch. Still locked. Which made no sense. The window was open, yet locked in place, as if someone had slipped it upward without disturbing the hardware. A sudden, sharp, metallic noise cracked behind him. He spun, phone light slicing across the dark apartment. The noise came from the bedroom. A muffled thud. He stepped backward, his heels brushing the edge of the carpet. His voice came out in a whisper before he could stop it. "Hello?" Silence answered him. He didn't know what scared him more, the idea of someone responding or of no one responding at all. He hovered there for nearly a minute, his heart pounding so loudly it filled the quiet. Then, gathering the courage he didn't feel, he walked toward the bedroom. The door was half open. He was sure he had left it fully open. The phone's flashlight beam slid across the room. Bed, dresser, chair, mirror. Nothing unusual. Until he pointed the light at the floor. The rug had moved. A few inches maybe, but definitely moved. One corner curled up like someone had stepped on it, or knelt on it, or crawled across it. Ethan's throat tightened. He backed out and shut the door, hand trembling on the knob. He needed to get out, get to the elevator, the stairs, anything. He grabbed his jacket from the hook by the entrance and reached for the door. Locked. He twisted the bolt. It didn't move. He tried again, wrenching it with force. It was jammed, not stuck from rust or age, but held in place from the other side, as if someone were pressing against the door, silently and with purpose. He stepped back. A soft vibration tremored through the floor. Not movement, not footsteps. Breathing. Deep, slow inhalations rising through the structure of the building itself. He turned and pressed his back against the wall. Another click echoed from inside the apartment. Then another, and another. Different corners, different directions, as if someone, no, multiple someones, were moving around in the dark. He walked backward toward the kitchen, phone light bobbing with the shaking in his hand. He needed something, a weapon, anything. His gaze landed on the drawer near the fridge. He opened it and yanked out the largest knife he owned. The moment he did, the breathing stopped. He froze. The silence pressed in like a living thing. Then, a whisper, soft, thin, coming from the bedroom. Finally. Ethan dropped the knife. It clattered loudly on the tile, echoing through the apartment. And something inside the bedroom moved. Slowly, deliberately, dragging. He bolted. He sprinted out of the kitchen, across the living room, straight toward the window he'd found open. He stuck his head out. Darkness below. 15 floors was too far to jump, but across the alley was another building, only a few feet away, with a fire escape ladder reachable if he climbed onto the ledge. He didn't hesitate. He shoved the window higher, climbed onto the sill, and placed one foot on the thin metal ledge outside. A shape moved behind him. He didn't look. He leapt across the gap. His fingers hooked onto the railing of the adjacent building's fire escape. Pain ripped through his shoulder, but he hauled himself up. He stumbled onto the platform, gasping. He wanted to call for help, but his phone was dead. He peered back at his apartment window. Nothing. No movement. No face. Just the open window, curtains fluttering slightly. Then, something brushed against his ankle. He jolted, looking down. A rope. Not thick, not heavy, just a thin black cord wrapped around his leg. He kicked wildly, but the cord tightened itself, coiling snake-like, pulling him toward the edge of the fire escape. He screamed and grabbed the railing, his fingers slipping on the cold metal. The cord tightened around his calf, digging deep, pulling with unnatural strength. He fought, kicking at the darkness below, until with one desperate wrench, the cord snapped loose. He scrambled upward, climbing the fire escape as fast as his shaking limbs allowed. He reached the next landing, collapsed, chest heaving. That's when he heard it. A faint scraping sound, coming from below. He forced himself to look. Something was climbing the metal ladders beneath him. Not a person, too fast, too quiet. A shape almost blending with the shadows, moving with unnatural fluidity. Ethan scrambled up the stairs, hands slipping on the rails, sweat and adrenaline burning his eyes. He reached the roof door. Locked. He shook it violently. "Please, come on, open!" The scraping grew louder, closer. He ran along the rooftop ledge looking for something, anything, when his foot struck a metal maintenance box. He grabbed it, lifted it, and hurled it at the roof door handle. The metal smashed through the handle. He kicked the door open and bolted inside. The stairwell was pitch black, but at least it was enclosed. He ran down the stairs, slamming his feet hard, echoing through the narrow space. The scraping followed, but now muffled, as if whatever it was had slipped inside the stairwell from the roof. He didn't stop. He ran all the way to the 10th floor before bursting through the stairwell door into another hallway. This one lit at least, though dimly. He ran toward the elevator instinctively, then stopped himself. No, too risky. He turned